Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third session of Revolution Live. Um, so it's quite late here in Palestine. It's almost midnight, which means I almost missed a day. Mm, the reason that I'm here so late is that I had to spend a long time dealing with some bullshit, um, which is a lawsuit that someone filed against me, which I believe is just political persecution because of my political positions. Those political positions being that I'm against the murder of everyone. So I have to invest a lot of time and energy into dealing with that bullshit. But what can I do? I need to do that. I didn't want to miss a day of these sessions that I started. I promised myself that I would try as hard as I can to have a session every single day. Because I believe that this is something that can really help my own sanity with processing everything that's going on, both in my personal life and in the land that I was born in and in the world in general. So that's one reason, the selfish reason. And the other reason is that I believe that having these kinds of discussions is imperative in bringing positive change to the world. I was watching the second session with my girlfriend to talk about like what worked, what didn't work, and some notes and some thoughts. And at some point we were like, is anyone online speaking the way that you are speaking? And I don't know anyone who is saying things that are similar to what I'm saying. And that made me think, hold on, why am I saying what I'm saying? Because I think that many people should be saying the things that I'm saying, because I think that this is the correct thing to say. This is the correct way to approach things. And yet no one online is saying the kinds of things that I'm saying. So I think that it's important that I change the number of people who are speaking this way from 0 to 1, at least 1. And 1 is infinitely more than 0. A mathematical fact is that 1 divided by 0 is infinity. So it's infinitely more. Okay. So my pedantic mathematician self has to say that 1 divided by 0, if this 0 is a function that approaches 0 from the positive side. If you know, you know. If you don't know, disregard what I said. Anyway, okay, I see people are joining. Welcome, everyone. So I was babbling for about 3 minutes, but now I want to get to the main point of this session. It's going to be a short one because I started late. So I just want to deal with one specific thought that I had. After yesterday's session, where I talked about the experience that I had at the animal rights protest, where I protected the rights of animals against their abusers too fiercely for some of the activists, and I got a lot of shit for it. And this connects to a lot of thoughts that I've been having lately about what is anarchism and what makes an anarchist. And why do I even speak about anarchism? in this context of revolution. So I believe that a revolution can only happen in an anarchical way. And let me explain. What are we even revolting against? What is the revolution against? And I believe that if you think about it deeply, you will see that all the violence and oppression in the world, all the problems of the world, come from hierarchies. They come from a situation where one group can decide the fate of another group without consulting them, without listening to them, without considering their actual opinion and their actual well-being. I will give some examples. Zionists control the space between the river and the sea, called Palestine, and they have the power to decide for Palestinians, for example, what the fate of Palestinians will be. So they use this power that they have to oppress the Palestinians, to inflict violence and death and mayhem and a genocide upon the Palestinians because it is to their benefit. One example. Another example, humans, the animals of the type Homo sapiens, have power over animals of other types, and they use this power to take over much of the land of planet Earth, much of the resources of planet Earth, and to subjugate, exploit, enslave, abuse, and murder hundreds of billions of sentient beings. And they do it, of course, at the expense of these living beings, and because they benefit from it. So they use the power. This is another hierarchy. So there is a hierarchy in the system of Zionism. There is a hierarchy in the system of human supremacy. There are hierarchies. Okay, so I'll refer to some comments. I hope Elik is well. I also spoke with Elik today. You know, he is as well as he can be in these times. Like I am as well as I can be in these times. And someone says, "Love your hoodie." Thank you so much. I like it as well. One of the subscribers to my channel gave it to me when I visited him in Spain. And thank you, Adrian. Shout out to Adrian, and thank you, Adrian, this lovely hoodie. Yes, so systems of supremacy and hierarchies. There is a hierarchy in patriarchy, a gender hierarchy. The family structure is a hierarchy where the parents are above the children, and this is also problematic. If you really think about the situation, capitalism is a hierarchy based on money, the number that is written in your bank account determines your place in the hierarchy of this system called capitalism, and this is also problematic. And if you think about any situation in the world that is violent, that is oppressive, that is problematic, you will see hierarchies there. This is what I did along many years. I did this, and I realized that I always had this seed of resistance to hierarchies. I always hated. I was at this panel where some anarchists spoke about anarchy, and one of them said something that I found very charming. They were speaking about, high abstract notions, but then he was like, and you know what? I don't like it when people tell me what to do. And I think this is the crux of it. Like, when you're an anarchist, when someone tries to tell you what to do, and you go, no, this is an anarchist, and maybe this will be the final point, only with more words. Um, so so the problems start when one group uh, uh, thinks that they can decide for another group what they should do. And so, as I said, uh, when I was growing up, I already felt that this was problematic all the time. I felt that this was problematic. And the more I thought about the problems of the world, I saw that they all boil down to this. I saw more and more that they all boil down to this situation of hierarchies. And then I found out that there is a name for the political position or political approach that is that we need to object to hierarchies wherever they may be, and that this is the correct path to freedom and to prosperity for all. And this name is anarchism. And I was like, okay, wonderful. So I'm an anarchist. Um, and in some sense, I realized that all of my political positions can be just a logical result of this position on anarchism. So I was like, wonderful. But the question is not just what is anarchism in an abstract sense, and then start all kinds of abstract questions which are important but abstract. How do we maintain a world without hierarchies? What do we do? How do we, organize society in a way that is not hierarchical? Will this not create problems? How do we solve the problems that may be created, and so forth and so on? A lot of questions about what is anarchism, how anarchism can work, how to bring anarchism, and so forth and so on. Important questions, but this is not the question that I want to refer to in this specific session. The question that I want to refer to in this specific session, because this is a question that I've been thinking about a lot recently, is what makes an anarchist? And the importance of this question is because if we want an anarchical society, this society must be made up of anarchists. There is no an anarchical society. The members of the anarchical society must be anarchists by definition. Okay, so if we want to bring an anarchical society, we all must become anarchists in the deepest sense of the word. The more we connect to our anarchical core, and I believe that we all have this anarchical core. I will speak about this more in a moment. The more we connect with our anarchical core, the more we personally promote this thing that we aspire to, called an anarchical society. Peace and love to all animals. Thank you so much. Okay, so and also so this is a kind of dual process. Okay, the more an individual is connected to themselves and to their anarchical core, the more that they are individually anarchists, the more society becomes anarchical. Because what is society if not the sum of the members of the society and the connections between them? Okay, so this is a way to promote an anarchical society, to promote ourselves, the anarchical core within ourselves. And there is another, and this is a two-way street, because the more society is anarchical, the more we can connect with our own individual anarchical core. There is more freedom for this. We can see this if we invert this. It's easier to see it if we invert the way that we look at it. If society is hierarchical, then hierarchies are structures of power, okay, where one individual has power over another individual, or a system has power over an individual. So the system, the hierarchical system, will not like anarchists inside it. The system will resist anarchical anarchist individuals within it as much as it can, because anarchists are a danger to hierarchical systems, because they do not believe in hierarchies, and they do not support hierarchies, and they want to destroy all hierarchical structures. So they are a danger. So a society that is hierarchical is opposed to individuals being anarchists. So the more anarchical a society is, the easier it is for its members to become more of an anarchist. And of course, this is not a binary, okay? Like every important thing in life, there is no binary here. You can be more or less of an anarchist, and the society can be more hierarchical or more anarchical. So, if we imagine this process, we see that this is a process of steps, okay, in which individuals become more connect with their anarchist cores. They make society more anarchical, and this more anarchical society is more free, so it allows more individuals to connect more with their anarchical core, and then this builds itself, and hopefully this creates a snowball effect, and then we reach this goal of a highly anarchical society. Okay, so having said that, the conclusion is that each and every one of us, if we truly want a revolution, each and every one of us needs to do as much as we can to connect with our anarchist core. And this is the question of this session. What does it mean to connect with our anarchist core? And now I go back to, yes, we can speak abstractly about what is anarchism, how to reach an anarchical society. We can speak abstractly about this. And again, this is important. Learning about this is important. Reading about this is important. Investigating this using the experience of others is important. But it's not the only part, and maybe it's not the most important part. The most important part, I believe, of being an anarchist is the praxis, is how we do it in practice, okay? And so the goal is that whenever we identify a hierarchical structure, we need to oppose it. Now I come back to, I don't like it when people tell me what to do. And I believe that no one likes it when they are told what to do. The very fact that we are living beings, that we have a will inside us, this will is something that is shared to all organisms, by the way. So the will is we want to do something. And if another individual stops us from doing something that we will, then we don't like it. Then we don't like it. Okay, what happens when there is a clash between the wills of two different individuals? So the correct way to okay, you have a problem with authority. No, the problem is authority. Wonderful, wonderful. We will specify this more later. So, what happens when there is a clash between two individuals? The correct way to resolve the issue is to have a discussion between equals, and then decide on the best path together. This is the correct way this is the anarchical way to resolve this. What is the hierarchical way to resolve this? Where we decide who is higher up in the system, and the one who is higher up makes the decision for the one who is lower. The politicians make the decisions for the citizens. The boss makes the decision in the capitalist organization. Humans make the decisions for other animals. Men make the decisions for women. Jews make the decisions for Palestinians about what's going on in Palestine and what the fate of Palestinians are. We don't like any of this. I don't like any of this. And especially, I don't like when other people try to make decisions for me. Okay? So, and I said that I believe that no one likes it when they are being told what to do. And I truly believe that. And the question arises, why do some people listen to other people? So there can be reasons to listen to what other people have to say, which are fine, which are wonderful. Like, for example, if someone has more experience than you, if you trust them, if they have more knowledge, if they have more skills, if they have good intentions, and so forth and so on, you can trust them and listen to what they have to say and follow that because you think that this is the best way forward, because you truly believe that this is the best way forward. This is a kind of hierarchy, but this is a benign hierarchy. This is a hierarchy that is useful and that can help us. Like, for example, I was a math teacher. I'm still a math teacher. I give private lessons. I was a math teacher at the university. I can see some problematic stuff with me standing up in front of a class and explaining math. But at least there is some justification for this. I invested 10, 15 years of my life to, depends on which point of my teaching career you're talking about, in learning about math, in learning these subjects. I have a certain skill, I have certain knowledge, and I can help you obtain that knowledge if you just listen to me. And a lot of my students really wanted to listen to me. Some of them didn't. Some of them were there only because their parents forced them to, or society made them think that they should do it. And then I would prefer it if they weren't in the class, because that hierarchy was not justified. Okay, so some hierarchies are okay, but some hierarchies are not okay because they are imposed by force. Okay, and against the will of those who are lower on these hierarchies. And how does this happen? So, okay, sometimes the power is very obvious. Okay, the power structure is very obvious. Just someone, the boss says to the employee, "I need you to do this," and the employee is like, "Fuck, I don't want to, but I'll do it because otherwise I won't have a paycheck. Then I won't have resources. I won't have food. I will die. So I have to do it." Okay, so this is quite obvious. But sometimes it's not as obvious. Sometimes it's not as explicit. Sometimes the systems of hierarchy convince using propaganda and using education and using messaging that is shoved into your brain from the moment that you are born, that the hierarchy is justified. And then some people are convinced to follow the hierarchical structure, even though deep down they know they do not want to. A lot of people who are part of, institutional religions, they are brought up from age 0 to believe that it is okay that there is a rabbi or a priest or an imam that decides what should be done, or a Buddhist monk that decides what should be done in this moment, and that they should listen to them. But if they truly looked at what they want, they would see that this is not what they really want. Okay, a lot of women believe that their husband should make the decisions in the house, but many of them have been conditioned into believing this from age 0. So if maybe if they thought about this for themselves, then they wouldn't want to follow what the man says. Okay, so sometimes people follow hierarchies not out of their free will, but because they have been conditioned to do this. Okay. And we want to oppose hierarchies as much as we can. And I think that the most obvious opportunities that we have to do this is when hierarchies try to impose their will on us. specifically and personally. The system of Zionism, the hierarchical system of Zionism, brought me up from age 0 with education that was imposed on me from my parents, from the actual education system, from the media, from just everyone around me in Zionist society, and so forth and so on. They brought me up and they pushed a lot of propaganda into my brain from age 0 that the Zionist system is an okay system. It's great and it's for my own benefit, it's for my own safety, and so forth and so on. A lot of people who were born into this hierarchical system of Zionism, the system works on them. It convinces them that this system is for their benefit. Even some of them Palestinians, by the way. Some actual Palestinians have been given an Israeli citizenship, and then they cooperate with Zionism because they have been brought up to believe that it is in their benefit to cooperate with Zionism. You can see some of them in the organization standing together. Okay? So, what was my point? Okay, so the system brought me up to believe that the hierarchical system of Zionism is for my own benefit. For some reason, it didn't work on me. For some reason, it didn't work on me as well as it did on others. It worked very, very well on many, many people to the extent that they are willing to kill and die for this system, for the preservation of this hierarchical system. For some reason, it didn't work so well on me. It did work well enough. It worked well enough that I thought that I had no choice but to join the Israeli army. Me, a pacifist, a self-proclaimed pacifist at age, I don't know, 14 already? At age 18, I thought that I had no choice but to join the army because my parents pressured me, because society pressured me, because I was told all kinds of stuff. And if I truly knew what the meaning of this decision was, I would not do it. But they convinced me to do it. For example, this is one thing that they convinced me to do. But they didn't win. They didn't win. And I think that one of the reasons that they didn't win is my anarchical core. Is this voice inside me that says, no, they cannot tell you what to do. You are independent. You know what is right. You know what is wrong. You know what you should and shouldn't do. You know that you do not want to cooperate. You know. You know that this is a lie. You know that this is truth. You know that this is truth. You know that this is a lie. This voice inside me that kept telling me, you know, they do not know. Do not trust them. Do not follow them. Do not listen to what they have to say to you. Do not listen to what they command you. This voice inside me was the voice that helped me resist the propaganda of Zionism. I was asked this today. Today, someone commented on my Instagram profile and asked, why did the Zionist propaganda didn't work on you? Why didn't it work on you? I think that this is a big reason why. This is why I want to strengthen the anarchist core in all of us, because this is the antidote to the virus that is cults. Cults, for me, is just another name for hierarchical systems. And this is a virus when you think about there's like different approaches to this hierarchical systems, power, cults, a virus, a mind virus, collective mental illness. It's just different names for the same kind of phenomenon that we need to define. And the antidote to this virus is connecting to your anarchist core. You have a strong intuitive sense of integrity, something that is completely absent in their eugenic mental monocultures. Okay, so thank you for the compliment. I identify this intuitive sense of integrity, the strong one that I have. But because I do not want to feel superior to anyone else, and I am working on actually not feeling superior to anyone else, I do not want to believe for 1 second that this strong intuitive sense of integrity that I have is something unique to me. I believe more and more and more with each passing day, and this is something that the more I look at myself, I see I always truly believed, and when I didn't believe it, it was the result of propaganda of hierarchical systems. I truly believe that everyone has the same strong intuitive sense of integrity. And this is the thing that I want to strengthen within others as much as I can, because this is exactly the thing that is needed for being an anarchist. If you want to actually be an anarchist, please identify when systems of when hierarchical systems try to impose their hierarchies on you and try to tell you what to do. Please connect to this core and think for yourself, feel for yourself, know for yourself. Be an actual individual, not an individual in the sense that the neoliberal capitalist system wants you to be, because they want you to be a fabricated, fake individual, in the sense that you don't care about anyone else. No, I care only about myself. And I develop myself. You know, this is the kind of individual that systems, that the capitalist neoliberal system loves, because this is the way that they can continue imposing the hierarchies. Because an individual in this sense is not revolutionary. They only take care of themselves. So whenever the system presents incentives to them, which are designed intentionally and very manipulatively and very, very subtly and designed expertly to put you in a prisoner's dilemma, to put you in a situation where you choosing the incentives is against your own interest, is against your actual interest, because they make it so that if you choose, make choices from the narrow angle of your immediate material personal benefit, then you do this at the expense of all others who are also exploited by this system. Okay? And then every single individual in this system makes these choices because they are beneficial to them in a very superficial, immediate, material, narrow sense, selfish sense, okay? And then everyone is an individual, and all the individuals work together, but separately completely, to just maintain the system. This is not the kind of individualism that I'm talking about. The kind of individualism that I'm talking about is connecting to your true self, to yourself that is connected to everything. The more you look inside yourself, the more you will see how much everything is connected, and how much there is no difference between myself and everyone else. You will see how your integrity, your morality, your goodness, your generosity, is something that is in your core and is something that is just connected to everyone else. I need to take a breath. I will read some comments and then I will continue this discussion. People on the spectrum tend to dislike hierarchies and have a strong sense of justice. Yes, okay. My girlfriend is a psychologist, and we joke around about how I'm on the spectrum. She diagnosed me already. It's not an official diagnosis. I don't have a paper, but she says that I'm on the spectrum. And we talk a lot about this connection with being on the spectrum and being an anarchist. So I think that this spectrum, so this is a hot take, okay? It's a hot take. I don't know if I'm saying this in the most accurate way, okay? But I think that this spectrum was crafted by the neoliberal capitalist Western system, scientist system. It's a scientism. It's a system of scientism. So this spectrum is a tool that was crafted by this system to brand certain people as problematic. So I go back to the comment that we had before. You have a problem with authority. No, the problem is authority. People who object to authority are always branded as lunatics, terrorists, problematic, bad boys, all kinds of names, delusional, naive, idealistic, purist, all these names that they give to try to pathologize our sincere desire to oppose the systems of oppression whose violence we see before our eyes every single day. They try to pathologize it. There is a group of people who are against hierarchies who have a certain personality structure. They call these people on the spectrum to say that they are the problem and not the violence and not the hierarchy and not the oppression and not the theft, not the marginalization, not the discrimination, not those. The problem is you. You're autistic. You're autistic. He's special. He's special. They try to pathologize us. I am not a pathology. I have a certain personality structure. Everyone does. This personality structure defines some things, and it doesn't define me completely. And in any case, it's not a pathology. And one part of my personality structure is that the part of me that objects authority is quite strong. They could not beat it. And I believe everyone here in the chat is someone like this, that the part of them that objects to authority was not beaten, not completely. And when it's not completely beaten, we can fight back and we can win. Excellent elucidation about the wrongs and injustices. Alon, I love your hoodie. Also, greetings from Ireland. Greetings from occupied Palestine. Thanks for the compliments. Hierarchical systems are not the problem. The problem is when demagogues take over the systems. No, I'm sorry. I disagree completely. These hierarchical systems are just waiting for demagogues to take over them. These hierarchical systems are constructed to push demagogues up because hierarchical systems thrive on lies, they thrive on deception, they thrive on manipulation. Hierarchical systems can only be managed when liars, psychopaths, demagogues are at the head of them. This is one main reason why hierarchical systems are so bad. Because whenever you look at the top of a hierarchical system, you will find a psychopath. You will find someone who gets off on power, who gets off on telling others what to do, and this is indeed a pathology. You know why I'm saying that this is a pathology? Because this can be cured. It can be cured, but as long as it's not cured, as long as people are sick, those sick people will go up the hierarchies and they will manage our lives. They will have the power to manage our lives. So, yes, hierarchical systems are the problem. Hierarchical systems are also created and maintained exactly by those people. Those are the people most responsible for maintaining these systems. But they are always managed by psychopaths and demagogues. Always, always. Think about your boss. Is your boss not a demagogue? Think about your prime minister, or your president, or all the politicians, or the congressmen. Think about anyone who is in a position of power. They are all liars. They are all demagogues to some extent. They would not reach this position if they were not. We also are strong at seeing patterns that most neurotypicals do not see. Yes, maybe this is why. Maybe this is why we can look at these systems for we people on the spectrum. I don't know. Again, I don't know how much I like this whole division. I think, you know what? I have a thought about this. I have a thought about this as well. Maybe, so propaganda is designed to be a statistical thing. It's a statistical mechanism. It works. It is designed to work on most people. As long as it works on the vast majority of people, it's fine. Maybe there is something that just a property that is shared by many different personality structures, and this property is called neurotypicality, and the opposite of it is called neurodivergence. Just because it's a minority, phenomenon, minority of people have this personality structure. So the propaganda is designed to work on people of a certain kind, the majority called neurotypicals, and therefore it doesn't work as well on neurodivergent people. Maybe if they made personalized propaganda for neurodivergent people that works on neurodivergent people, then maybe they could catch me and you as well. Also, I think maybe this new phenomenon of the manosphere that is propaganda designed for men, white men who are mostly young, mostly teenagers and 20s, but now they have grown up and they are now in their 30s even and 40s even. So this propaganda is designed to take these men who never really felt like part of society, who felt like they were at the margins of society, even though materially they have a lot of benefits. They didn't feel accepted by society. And I have a suspicion, again, hot take, I have a suspicion that many of these men are actually on the spectrum, and that the manosphere propaganda is a way to turn to those people who are on the spectrum and make them fascists as well. And this is the result. The result is what we're seeing. The result is also, like, this is a big part in how Trump got elected. Again, hot take, but never mind. More discussion about people on the spectrum. I'm going to let this go for now. Okay, it's not the main point. Let's see. More discussion about people on the spectrum. Maybe I will do an episode about this. But I must say that everything that I have to say about this is just my own personal thoughts that are completely. They are not the result of any expertise or actual training. So it's all hot takes, but maybe I will ramble about it for a while sometime. Positions of power also have corrupting effects on people. Yes, okay. Let's talk about this. So, not only do hierarchies attract to the top or push to the top the people who are most who we want least to control the fate of others, it also corrupts them. If there happened to be a semi-decent person that arrived at a position of power in a system or in a hierarchical system, they will immediately be more corrupted. The system will immediately make them more corrupt. It's just a cliche at this point. Power corrupts. And we can talk about this at length, like in what different ways does power corrupt. But I think we all know this. I think we all know that when someone is in a position of power, then it is much more likely that they will use their position of power to impose their petty will on others. How many of our bosses, they were okay people, and then they became the boss, and now they suck ass. Right? We all know this. Power is not always bad, depending on what it is and who has it. Yes, I did say that some hierarchical structures can be justified, but let's put an asterisk on this. How can they be justified? Only when there is knowledge, expertise, experience, skills to be shared, and only for a very short period of time. If a hierarchy becomes, becomes too solid, then it becomes toxic. Okay, we have to move our muscles all the time to keep them flexible, because otherwise there will be problems. If we don't move, our body will start having problems. If the system doesn't move, the system is not flexible, then it starts to be poisonous. Okay, when a position of power is held for too long by a certain individual or a certain kind of individuals, it will always corrupt them. Look at Zionism. It's just it became more and more and more corrupt because it lasted for so long. Okay, the more hierarchical systems last, the more poisonous they become. Okay, so I answered some questions. I want to do 1 hour today. So I have a little over 10 minutes to try to explain more about this concept of an anarchist. If you want to be an anarchist, when you connect to your anarchist core, when you become more and more of an anarchist, you will find yourself more and more in situations where you want to defy the will of the system, because you see that there are hierarchies within the system, that these hierarchies create violence. You will see the violence and you will be like, no, I want this to stop. And you will want more and more to resist the system. You will want more and more to tell the truth to the representatives of the system, even though they are your friends, they are your family, they are your colleagues, they are just people in the street who you have no desire to have any conflict with. But you will see that all of them are agents of the system, and you will want to resist the system. So maybe you see the system of oppression called Zionism, so you resist the violence that is performed by the system, and you want to go to a protest. So you will go to a protest, you will meet with other people in solidarity, which is also a very important ingredient in anarchism. But maybe I see that I want to make this into a series. Maybe at some point in the future, we will talk about solidarity and what is solidarity and what is its importance. So you go to protest to have solidarity with others who agree with you that this system is problematic and that this system should be brought down or at least kept in check. And when you go to the protest, you will see some cops, because cops are the ultimate servants of the system, of the hierarchical system called the state. Okay? It's funny, I've been talking about anarchism for 50 minutes and I did not mention states. Because I don't know, it's like so. I mentioned politicians, I mentioned this, but anarchism is like the most simple way to interpret it is the objection to the specific hierarchical systems called states, which have a monopoly on violence, and this means that they can impose their will on individuals. Okay, cops are the ultimate servants of this hierarchical system called a state. They are paid and brainwashed into policing others. The name police, it's in the name. It's in the name. They're honest about it. They police others. What does that mean? It means that when someone steps out of line, as far as the state is concerned, they inflict violence uh, on this individual, so that this individual starts behaving. This is what the police is. So you will go to a protest and you will see some police officers there. And you've been brought up to think that police officers are your friends, that they are here to protect you, that they are here to keep the, the peace, to keep the order, to keep the peace. And peace and order are good things. But then you will start seeing that the police are beating up you or your friends. What? Why are the police beating me up? Why are the police beating up my friends? We're just good people who see violence and oppose to violence. So we went to a protest. Why are they beating us up? I oppose violence and therefore they inflict violence upon me? Weird. Weird. And then, if you start thinking about what's going on here, you will see that this structure called the state is a hierarchical structure where I am not at the top of the hierarchy. I do not have the power, and they want to inflict their will upon me. And as long as I played their game, everything was okay for me. I didn't, maybe I experienced some state violence, maybe I didn't. But the moment I resist the very structure of the state, boom, they start to inflict violence upon me. And then you will have a choice. This choice is between surrendering and continuing. And the hierarchical structure will do everything within its power to make you surrender. They will use force, they will use scare tactics, they will use propaganda, they will use manipulation, they will use emotional manipulation, they will use psychological manipulation. These systems will use your friends and family who are still subjugated to the system against you. They already did from the moment you were born. But if you start resisting the system, you will see it happening in real life before your very eyes in real time. You will see it happening. You will see your friends and family start calling you names. You will see them saying that you're crazy, saying that you're stupid, saying that you're violent, saying that you're angry, saying that you're hateful, saying that you're confused, saying that you're silly, just telling you to stop it, being angry with you, arguing with you, insulting you, berating you, mocking you. This is what you will start to experience the moment you truly start to oppose the systems, the hierarchical systems of oppression. These are very manipulative systems. They will do everything within their power to make you surrender in your struggle against them, in your resistance. And they have a lot of power because they control everyone around you. But you still have a choice. Do you surrender or do you continue? And the more you continue, the more you will see the system manipulating everyone around you in order to achieve one thing, and that is that you choose to surrender. What is an anarchist? What makes an anarchist? An anarchist is someone who does not surrender. The moment you identify the system, the hierarchical system, identify its violence, start opposing it, identify the manipulative tactics it uses against you to make you surrender, and choose not to surrender, this is the moment when you are a true anarchist. Do not surrender. Do not surrender. Continue. Resist. This is the only way to achieve the revolution. Resist.